Hey! Hey, I am live, huh? Oh, I'm live. Hello. All right. Um, the reason I'm doing a live video is, frankly, because I just I didn't. I was I was feeling lazy, and I just didn't want to shoot a video, edit the video, upload the video, all that crap. So I'm just going live to sort of talk about the year that was, 2023. What happened, all the good things, all the bad things, um, and then looking ahead for 2024 and the couple of things that I've got on tap. So yeah, that's what's what. Um, First of all, I guess we can talk about um, the documentary. Um, if people are new to the channel, fresh to the channel, they might not know that I'm a filmmaker. I've been making movies coming up in February for 33 years of my life. um, I'm 46 this year, and in 1991 I started this little shitty little company called Low Budget Pictures, and I made a bunch of movies. And around, you know, 99, things started getting sort of bigger with the films and more recognition. And then in 2000, we got distribution and so on and so on. And I kept making movies under the Low Budget Pictures banner. And then in 2011, started Warlock Home Video. But in 2019, a filmmaker from Seattle, his name is Zach Oliveris, he got a hold of me and he wanted to make a documentary about me and my films. He had seen some of them, and he thought there was a story there. Long story short, from 2019 till I guess 2021, um, I guess early 2022, he made this documentary. And in 2022, it traveled around to a whole bunch of festivals, won a bunch of awards. And then early this year, the beginning of 2023, it started hitting streaming sites, uh, Amazon Prime, and it was still doing the festivals at that point. It was sort of its last leg of doing the festivals, but the documentary hit Amazon Prime, and then it hit physical media on Blu-ray and VHS, um, and then it hit Tubi um, on my 46th birthday, actually, which was pretty cool. So Zach Oliveris, he's a really great dude. He's become a good friend, and he made a great documentary, regardless of me being the subject matter. And it's called Zero Budget Heroes: The Legend of Chris Seaver and Low Budget Pictures. And it really is a time capsule of me being born in '77 till up until he stopped shooting in 2001, 2021, 2021. Sorry. Um, so if you're at all interested in checking out that documentary, checking out me as a filmmaker and what it's been like to make these no budget independent films for so long, and I'm still doing it. Um, you can check out that documentary. Like I said, it's on Amazon Prime, it's on Tubi. If you like it and you want to own the physical media, there's a whole bunch of extras that were not included in the documentary that you can get on Zodoc Films. It's Zodoc, Zodoc Films.com. Um, and that's on Instagram, and that's his website and Facebook and all that stuff, and you can find the doc there. Um, and that's Zach. Zach, yeah. So I mean, it was really cool to see a documentary made about me and all the people that I consider my extended family, the people who make the movies with me and have for over 20 years. Um, and Yeah, it's awesome. I'm I'm glad it's out there and people are discovering it. Um, and I hope more people discover it. I hope it inspires some kid with a camera to pick it up and go crazy and make the art that they want to make. You know, so we shall see. Um, but also Zach is a wonder with mastering, and he has been responsible for the last few years of all of the low budget pictures classics Blu-ray that we've been putting out, as well as some of the Warlock Home Video Blu-rays. All of the Blu-rays that are coming straight from me are thanks to Zach and his mastering and his magic, putting all of that stuff together. Um, he also has helped us put out the Saturday Morning Sleepover Blu-rays, and they've all sold out. They've all done great, and I hope people are enjoying them. And yeah, Zach, I mean, he's done a lot for us, and I can't thank him enough. And you know, he really did a great job cleaning a lot of this shit up. uh, And then I've been, in all those Blu-rays that we've been releasing, I've been pulling our pulling out archival footage, from the late '80s into the '90s, um, of me and my friends making movies and just random stuff that nobody has ever seen, behind the scenes, bloopers, raw footage, festival events and things like that. And so there's a lot of stuff on them, and uh, Zach really did a great job putting all that stuff together. Um, and the majority of that has happened, you know, mid 2022 all through 2023. Um, and last year at the end of the year, we got to see the documentary in a big theater, which was awesome. Um, I wish I could have made it out to more of the screenings that were happening at the festivals and whatnot, but you know, um, But Zach, yeah, made that movie, and he should be promoting it. I don't know why he's not, but he should be out there promoting it. I've definitely done more promotion for the doc than the actual filmmaker. But hey, what do you do? He did a great job, and he is a new father. So in all of that magic, the madness, and the mayhem of making a documentary, putting all these Blu-rays together, he is a brand new dad, and you know, all happened this year. So crazy, crazy indeed. Um, oh, I see. Oh, I had that. You're here. Hello. Um, yeah. So another thing that happened this year, which I am extremely thankful for. Um, Hold on. My cats are gonna go fighting for some of the food right now, so I gotta. All right. Sorry, guys. I am back. Um, so in January, I uh, had a reunion. Had a pretty awesome reunion with um, a former boss of mine, J.R. Bookwalter, who is a uh, independent filmmaker, horror filmmaker, and one of my inspirations growing up. Um, he was part of the big boom, the pioneers of shot on video horror. And in the early to mid '80s, he made um, a huge 16 millimeter backyard epic called The Dead Next Door, um, which was produced by Sam Raimi and stars Scott Spiegel, the writer of Evil Dead 2, and director of Intruder, and the voice of Bruce Campbell, and all that stuff. Anyway, Jr. Jr. Bookwalter in 2001 is the first person who gave us national distribution. He's the one who bought the rights to Malva Zombie Ass Kicker and paid me to make the first Filthy McNasty movie, and that started a friendship and a business partnership that lasted for 10 years. And the last movie I made for him, but I ended up making 13 films for Tempe Entertainment, Jared Bookwalter's company, which is now makeflix.com. Um, the last movie I made for him was Filthy McNasty 4, which was in 2010. Um, and then, you know, lots of things changed. The business models changed, and times were changing. Streaming was burgeoning, and all this weird stuff was happening. And um, you know, uh, in 2011, I started Warlock Home Video, and he was producing stuff, but he wasn't really doing much in the way of making films or putting out other filmmakers' films. He was um, remastering and sort of re-releasing a lot of his older films on Blu-ray for the first time, beautifully, like putting out amazing collector's editions and whatnot. And himself, he hadn't shot a film since the early 2000s. So anyway, you know, hanging out with him, talking with him off and on at conventions and still through online since 2010. Somehow the stars aligned and we got back together at the beginning of this year. And he was talking about how he had a movie that he was ready to make for him, his new film that he created with James L. Edwards, his frequent partner and um, co-star in a lot of JR's films, um, called Side Effects May Vary. And then we got to talking about me making a new movie for him as well. And this was very fortuitous because in 2022, I had just spent 3 or 4 years sort of marinating this Wellsville Nights thing. And then during the pandemic, was able to sort of put together the whole Wellsville Nights like pitch deck, which was like a 4 season arc. Completely wrote the first season already, which is 8 episodes each season. And then we got to shoot the pilot uh, in the summer of 2022. And so that was sort of going on during this in January, still sort of trying to promote Wellsville Nights to different producers and whatnot. And I had some pitch meetings and a couple of producer meetings, which were interesting and eye-opening and I think positive. Um, but it was cool to have this sort of come along at the same time. And um, so, you know, and this was different. This was a whole new, this was coming at this very differently. The contracts were different. The things that I wanted were different. The things that he wanted, um, and it all worked out really well, and we both agreed on what we wanted to do. Um, and then a deal was made, and we were back together. Chris Seaver making another project for now makeflix.com, but producer J.R. Bookwalter. And so concurrently, he was working on his new film, and I was doing pre-production for my new film. And I would say through all through this year, this new movie and Wellsville Nights is pretty much um, all that I worked on. You know, uh, the pre-production went full force in February of this year, and we shot in July of this year. And uh, it was good. It was fun. It was hard. It was another summer shoot, so it was hot as hell. Um, but with not having shot anything substantial in almost 5 years, to come back and do Wellsville Nights last year and to get that like burst of creative energy and fun for making films again, the joy of making stuff again. I was, you know, hot and heavy. I was ready to rock for this film. Uh, and we pulled it off, and I was able to bring in some of the new people from Wellsville Nights to integrate them in with the old gang. And so another reunion for this film was Miss Debbie Rashawn, who is a B movie legend. And I mean, just look at her IMDb. I mean, it's vast. It's beyond insane the amount of films that she's done. But I met Debbie in 2000 when we shot Malva Zombie Ass Kicker together. And Debbie ended up doing 8 movies with us throughout the years, um, off and on. And she had always been a huge supporter and proponent of the dumb shit that we do. And uh, you know, knowing fully well what a receiver movie is and what that entails. And she still went out there and pushed us and promoted. And it doesn't matter. She knows she can do high drama. She can do some really intense shit. And she can also slum it, doing Chris Seaver films and acting like a complete jackass, which she relishes, and she's awesome in it. And Debbie and I had not seen each other since I think 2012, when I was being given some like independent spirit award or something over in Buffalo, New York, and she was like the MC, and she gave me the award. Um, and that was the last time I like saw her in real life. I mean, we have talked to each other over the phone and through Skype and things like that. She did some retrospective work on the Blu-ray box set that MakeFlix put out of 13 of my films. So we did a fun retrospective on that. Because Debbie, I mean, she was. oh, the integral ingredient that got us hooked up with JR and then subsequently distribution and all that stuff. So Debbie is a huge part of my life and my, you know, career. And she came back and she slipped right back in the gang, and it was like she never left us, and she had a ball. I mean, so much laughing every single day of shooting. And her and Josh Swire, who is one of my best friends and a staple of all my films. I mean, you know, anytime I put those two together and write characters for them as a pair, it's going to be comic gold, and this was no exception. And it was so much fun to have Debbie back and to kill it, you know. And this isn't a cameo; she is in the film. She is a major character in the movie, and she's great, really funny, really funny. And really, you know, everybody everybody was so funny in this last movie, and in Wellsville Nights, man. I think, you know, there's something to be said, of course, for this group of people who are my best friends and extended family, I call them, and literally, while I've been doing this for 33 years, some of these people have been doing this for over 20 years. And, uh, you know, I think we hit Wellsville Nights and we hit this movie strong. You know, I really do. You know, a lot of the people can be hard on themselves because they think they're not like bringing it, but you know, I'm the one writing the material. I'm the guy who's coaxing these characters out of these people, and I think they're killing it and they're doing great. And I would say, of course, that hey, we need to work on this, but man, the A+ games were coming out for these people, and I was so happy, you know. And like I said, the Malva shoot, believe me, we've had fucking terrible shoots, but and this was rough in a few spots. But and even though through those rough spots, we just tempers got a little high, but they got little high for like 5 minutes and then it was gone and it was back to work and we just did it. And I had a good time, and I think everybody's going to really enjoy the performances. Um oh, let me see. Okay, it's Chad. Hello Chad. Oh, Chad. My man, Chad Young, horror movie barbecue. It was great to be on set for your project this past summer. What a fun thing to see and experience. And Debbie seemed very sweet. Love you, brother. 2024 going to be a good one for all of us. I agree. Oh, I had that. Excited to see it. Speaking of Wellsville Nights, anything coming for ways to help? I will talk about Wellsville Nights when I complete talking about this project. First, I think one of the cats just closed themselves in, so I got to open the door up there. I was right. They did. Uh, so in last year, putting together Wellsville Nights, um, we got some new blood in the group, and one of them was actually in LBP movies early on. Um, Dave Ottavino was in Filthy McNasty and Filthy McNasty 2, and the precursor to Filthy McNasty was which was known as Bone Appa Die. So in 2001, you know, we shot all this stuff in 2002. And then I don't see Dave until 2022 when I find out that, oh, he too is living in Rochester. And Casey's like, "Hey man, like why don't we talk to Dave to be a part of Wellsville Nights?" And I was shocked that he was here, but so that was a great reunion and Dave came in and knocked it out of the park as Nick, our lead jock in Wellsville Nights. Um, just so funny. So great. And and then we got Evan who played Kyle in Wellsville Nights, which was great. And he's going to continue playing Kyle. I mean, and you know, Dave's going to be playing Nick as well. Um, and we got Katie Keating, Katie, who is one of the most bubbly and supportive and jovial and smiley and just a rah rah cheerleader for all this stuff. She's a theater actress and she came in to play Sporks for Wellsville Nights and her enthusiasm is infectious. um, and then Deanna, Deanna Naja. Um, Deanna is Deanna is like she's a muse now. She's like for me, like um everybody was top notch in Wellsville Nights, but Deanna like blew me away. She really did. And for all of these guys, really, like Dave sort of knew the material. He just was coming into something that was a little more well oiled than when he was originally in the couple Filthy McNasty movies and whatnot. But he knew how extreme and gross we could get. But it was these new people who were so willing to sort of jump into the fire with me and this group and just do all this dumb shit. Um, and Deanna came to me because of, and it's funny because like Evan is a theater kid, and Dave and Katie knew each other from theater as well. So it was all a nice, even with all of those guys, it was just a nice tight knit group. And then coming into our tight knit group, but melding perfectly with our group. But Deanna came to me thanks to Bobby Heckman, who is, been my friend for 22 years, 23 years, Jesus. Um, and who's also a part of the films, and he was co-producing Wellsville Nights, and he found her for his Friday the 13th film, his fan project, Victim No More, which you can find on YouTube immediately. Um, and Deanna is like a revelation. She is so good, and she doesn't care how dumb, how stupid, how silly, how weird this stuff is. She just jumps in and goes for it and kills it, and like, uh, you know, I mean, she's so good, and I loved her so much that I I knew that going into this new film, um, she had to be the lead. Uh, in my head, immediately when I was talking with Jr. about the project and what we wanted to do with this thing, and how I wanted to do it differently and whatnot, I saw Deanna in my head for the character, and sure enough, uh, she killed it. She did it exactly how I thought the character should be, how I wrote her. She takes direction like wonderfully. Um, and yeah, I'm just really happy. So Deanna, like, I mean, Deanna, Evan, Katie, and Dave, I'm so thrilled that they still want to do stuff with me, and they're gonna continue this Wellsville Nights journey with me. I'm so happy, and like I said, they fit so well in with the group, um, and it's magical. You know, it's magical. Um, another person who has been very just integral to sort of um, along with Clint, who is part of the group and mostly shoots a lot of my stuff. But Sean King is uh, he's a fellow filmmaking warrior. He knows his shit. He's a cinematographer. He's a director. He's a writer. He is an actor, regardless of what he may say about that. Um, but he's so funny, and he. I have known him for years. We first sort of met each other in the late 2000s because he had a group, a TV show, a group called the Gooligans, which you can find on YouTube and some streaming platforms, I believe, maybe, but YouTube for sure. The Gooligans, and it's a really cool show and concept, and I loved what they were doing, and I was a big fan of them. So I met him at a convention, and he was aware of the garbage that I did and whatnot, and so we sort of kept in touch that way. And then he got hooked up with Bobby Heckman because they were sort of in the same area, and I don't know, the last 7 years or so, Sean has been an integral part of sort of the projects that I've been doing, and pushing the better quality for the films, and you know, understanding the Chris Seaver way of making a film, and the dialogue and the characters and performances, but wanting to push the quality of the film. So, uh, he and I appreciate that. I appreciate those people who want to push me in that direction. Because it does make a difference. But overall, I'm so concerned with the dialogue and the characters that the other stuff is so secondary to me. Um, but he, I think he and really, it's a trifecta because I believe, like, Sean King, Clint Kelly, and Zach Oliveris are these 3 dudes who love what we do, but want to push us, you know, for the better, and I appreciate that, much to my stubbornness, and bullheadedness sometimes. I appreciate it, and slowly but surely, we're gonna get there. Um, thanks to their quality control. So, oh wow, okay, so they're all in the chat, guys. So Zach, Sean, oh, so I thought Clint was here, but hey, guys, everybody, hello. So yeah, and so I do want to talk about Sean again because I'll say it right now, and then I'll wrap up this whole production thing that I was talking about. I hope you guys are interested in what I'm saying out there. I know not just the people in the chat, but people who watch this as I'm doing this 2023 wrap up. Um, Sean he is of the ilk, very much like myself. and a lot of our peers and friends who grew up doing shit with cameras and filmmaking when we were young. And Sean loves the shot on video stuff, just like the majority of us who started in shot on video and making movies that way. Um, and so he has a new film called Scream Walkers, which is a shot on video throwback, authentically shot on video, which is the good stuff, guys. Like, there's too many like filmmakers out there who they say they want to do that, but then they shoot with like the good cameras and then they put a shitty filter over it. No, 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 no. No, no, no. I've never liked that, and I disagree with it wholeheartedly. If you want to shoot a shot on video horror movie, then you pick up those fucking cameras and you shoot a shot on video horror movie. You shoot with VHS, you shoot with VHS-C, you shoot with SVHS, you know? Hell, even fucking mini DV. You shoot that way. You don't use the shitty filters because it never comes off looking authentic. Um, and like we all started shooting over the shoulder movies on our giant ass VHS VCRs, camcorders, you know? Anyway, he shot a new movie this summer, or this fall. Jesus, yeah, it was so quick. Called Scream Walkers, and you can go check out the Indiegogo slash project slash Scream Walkers. Um, and you can check out the trailer, and there's a chance that you can still get the physical media if you want to. I donated towards the project, and so I've get my VHS are coming. I hope to see it actually when I come down in February. Sean, yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, if you're that, it's his like sort of 90s shot on video Scream meets Sleepwalkers. It's got that vibe, but man, does it look, it looks like the stuff that, uh, inspired all of us. And that's what like Warlock Home Video was created for, you know, bringing back that feel of those times when all of us like-minded filmmakers like that were using all that stuff to make that shit, and the pioneers who were doing it, like Todd Sheets and Todd Cook and the Polonia brothers and John McBride and all those guys, Pericles Loonies, um, you know, Tim Ritter, fuck, J.R. Bookwalter. So, you want to check that stuff out too. I've got so many talented friends who do so much rad shit. All, all of you. I'm so proud and happy to be in all of these people's lives and to have them actually like being with me and hanging out with me and helping me on my dumbass projects, so uh, I appreciate that. Um, so back to the production this summer, and I know like everybody is sort of like, "Hey, can you finally tell us what the fuck this thing is?" And I really wish I could. I don't know. I still don't know why JR won't let us talk about it. Um, and we've been so vague since shooting it, since before shooting it. Because believe me, once you find out what it is, you're all just gonna be like, "Oh, okay." So it really isn't a big deal. I don't know if it's just he doesn't want excitement to build up too early for it, I guess. I don't know. Um, but we did it, and it's awesome. And all I can say is that it was edited months ago. I went down to his place, to JR's place in Ohio. I edited the movie. Um, JR is going to be doing sound mix and color grading. The movie looks phenomenal. It was shot with a red scarlet. It looks great. Um, co co-shot by Sean King and Clint Kelly, and their lighting and expertise and everything. And as fast as a Seaver film needs to shoot, they still knocked it out of the park. And yeah, it looks great and it's funny. I really am pleased with it, and I just can't wait for people to finally see it. And I will be talking about more about that project at the end of all of this for sure. Um, but shit. So what else happened this year? Oh, it was cool. Like we did a bunch of conventions this year to promote the documentary and um, promote all the new Blu-rays that Zach was producing for us, and um, we got to meet like a lot of really cool fans. Like I did a show out in Florida for the first time, which is nuts because we've been selling at shows since 1996, and I've never been out that way at all for a show to promote the stuff. And so, I was very wary. Like, is anybody really gonna care or know who we are? And not that that has to happen because, like, you always want to find new fans. But it was just sort of like I felt odd because they brought me out as a guest, and I was just like, is anyone really gonna know who we are? And thankfully, there were lots of people who knew who we were, and we did great, and people showed up in character as characters from my films, and this Uber fan from Florida came to see it, not from Florida, Canada came to see us in Florida. So it was just really cool. That was really fun to experience and very humbling. Um, I just I don't know. It was fun to be able to still go back out on the convention circuit and still have fans, you know? Some old school, some, you know, fans from when we first started putting this stuff out. It's insane to me. And it's amazing to constantly meet new fans. Thanks to the amount of years that we've been doing this, and thanks to the amount of movies I've made. Um, this stuff, you never know who it reaches. Because I've made so many movies and because they're put out through so many different companies, I have no idea what streaming sites they're on. It's always sort of a crapshoot, and sometimes it's like surprising to me. Um, and so it's always cool to meet new people and people who say, "Oh, I just saw Tear Up Blood Fart Lake, and now I'm like hooked, and I've watched everything on streaming," and they might have no idea that there's like 60 plus flicks to go through, and it's just cool. It's fun for new people to get a whiff of this stuff and sort of glom onto it and know that there's still people out there who enjoy silly B movie garbage, you know, um, and get it. They understand it. They get what we're doing and they get what we're about, and I appreciate that, and it's it's very cool. Yeah, it's very cool. Um, a lot of stuff has happened personally. Like my wife, she had a rough 2023. She got COVID again, and all around the same time she was having serious surgery, and she was out of work for gosh, it was like 2 months or something, and she was just feeling really down, and it's been a weird year for her, but also a really creative and fun year because she she started a business. She's really into apothecary, and so she started making scents like soaps and s- body butters and shower scrubs and all this stuff. So she started a side business. I mean, she's a pharmacist, but she she really found this stuff and she found a joy in it, and she started her business, and she's been doing really awesome with it, and people are really liking her products. And she does it, it's handmade, and um it's called Mortar and Pestle Apothecary, and she's got an Instagram and a Facebook and the Shopify site, and she did a bunch of shows uh where we were set up. We had a booth and everything, and she really put her business together, and that's been really fun to watch. And she's gone back to her novel. She's been writing a novel, a fantasy novel. She's really into fantasy and science fiction. And she's been writing a novel and going back to that off and on, and that excites me. I enjoy, like I said, I love talented people. I love being around talented people. I love when a whole just having so many intimate relationships that are uh, really creative and talented people, and my wife is one of them, and it's really awesome to see her flourish in that way. Um, amongst all the crusty stuff that was happening throughout the year um, for us. So, but I think that's for the most part, that's every year. Everybody has their ups and downs. Everybody goes through garbage, and they just got to pull themselves out. And it ebbs and flows. Sometimes you gotta not look at this stuff in years, because really, I mean, time and calendar and years is a s- human, or whatever creature we are, construct. We created it. So it's really just the ebb of flow of living, the ebb and flow of living, and the ebb and flow of living is shitty times and good times. That's just how it is. And but I'm happy that within that muck, we have found good times and things to celebrate and people to celebrate. Um, so yeah, I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for. I mean, my wife is a fucking warrior. I mean, she really is. I mean, what she does, what she puts up with. you know, I don't know if you guys know about this, but when I make movies, the majority of everybody who comes for the films has always stayed at my house. And while she loves everybody, um, it's a scene, man. You know, it's a scene, and for I mean, we're gonna be together almost 11 years now, and for all this time, she's put up with this. She's been supportive. Um, ultimately, she sees it. She knows how hard it is for me. Uh, to keep doing this and to quote unquote be successful at it financially and whatnot, and while that stuff can bother her, and the financial aspect is a real downer as part of being a filmmaker, an indie filmmaker, um when it comes down to it, she still is very supportive, and she still wants me to be happy and wants me to pursue the things that bring me joy. um and I think that's awesome, and it should be like that with everybody. Everybody should pursue the things that make them happy. I don't believe you should be on this floating space rock in the middle of a vast nothing, um, to work yourself to death. I just don't, and I won't. Uh, Now you can work yourself to death doing the things you love. I highly, endorse that. Have fun. Uh, Life's short. Enjoy yourselves. Put a smile on your face. As long as you're not hurting yourself, as long as you're not hurting anybody else, rock and roll, baby. Rock and roll. You know? Um, and and just I think I appreciate my friends. I appreciate the family that I have. I don't see everybody a lot. Here in Rochester, there's not a lot of um, my cousin Casey is only 10 minutes away from me, but we don't see each other a lot. He is his life is structured. His life is calendared. His life is scheduled. Um, he has a 4-year-old. His wife is constantly working, and he's trying to do his creativity, his comic books, which you can find. Don't forget a comic, or don't forget a towel comics, or don't forget a comic, or something like that. I don't know. But Casey Bogger, he's making comic books. His real passion. He loves comic books, and um, but so I don't really get to spend a lot of time with him, and when we do, it's short. Um, Jason and Noel, they live here, but they've got their thing going on, and everybody's just doing their thing and scattered around the country. But I appreciate and love all of them so much, and I do what I can to make sure we see each other every single year. And that might be me going to see some of them scattered around the country. That might be them coming to see me. And whether that is to make a movie, or to do Gash Bash, or to have some sort of event, which I, do every year. I do these things every year. Um, I just really appreciate that, somehow, in some way, we all try to see each other, and make sure that we're still sort of present in everybody's lives, and that's awesome. And I couldn't ask for a better friend group. They're so amazing, really. And I met some new friends. I got some new friends this year. Right from the get go in January. So I do these things called Saturday morning sleepover, where I curate 8 to 10 hours of nothing but 80s and early 90s television, cartoons, commercials, music videos, and oddities, and I edit it all together into this one long marathon. And we do these Saturday morning sleepovers that I host in my home, and I've been doing it since 2016. And we have a very dedicated group that always come to them. And this year, thanks to Nicole, she invited some new friends, some new folk. Nicole and Carrie, actually. So I got to meet Sarah and her husband Josh, and Jeremy and Barbie, who are a couple, and Amber, who's my age and really awesome, but like, and they're all sort of like-minded. They're all geeks, various degrees of age, but it doesn't matter because we all sort of speak geek. And they've been great. I haven't really gotten to hang out with Sarah that much, but um, she's awesome. And same with Amber. Amber has come to a bunch of the events, and she's really fun, and she totally gets so many of the references. She was an '80s kid as well, and she loves it all. And Jeremy and Barbie, I've hung out with the most, and they're the youngest, but they're really fun, and Uh, they like a lot of the same garbage that I do, and I've been able to show them a lot of new stuff, and we go to movies and stuff like that, and it's just been sweet. And at 46, to find new friends to join in an already established group of like 15, 16 friends is is pretty awesome. And for everybody to sort of get along with everybody, it's just nice. So that's been really cool too. And fellow warriors in liking Guar as well, which is sweet. You know, I got to bring them into sort of not only the Saturday morning sleepover, but also the yearly Christmas event that we do every year, and it's just this big Christmas get together, and we watch Christmas horror movies, and we feast, and we take ridiculous pictures next to the fireplace, and this was the biggest one. There was probably like 17 people squashed into our living room, and um, but it was awesome. It was great to have a lot of the old gang and all these new people join in, and I really appreciated that. And it's moments like that that you look at your life and you're just like, man, this is rad. Through all the garbage that all of us go through and that the world goes through, I mean, there's people who are fucking, I mean, terrible situations right now. You know, um, so you just gotta fucking put the shit in perspective, and things could be worse. Unfortunately. Um, so another thing that this might be a little weird to some of you guys, but I don't care. Um, I've always sort of, I've always believed in extraterrestrial life. Um, this, as a kid, I've always believed. I have talked about two of the experiences that I personally have had in Wellsville. Um, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in anything in the Bible. I don't believe in religions. I don't partake in any of that. And I'm not, if people do, that's you, brother. You don't push it on me. I'm not going to push my shit on you. It's all good. But for me, I sort of look at us as creatures ourselves. I look at us as aliens as well. If you break it down, everything that we know is only um, the knowledge is only from us. Um, like we are the people who created everything that we know. For example, humans. We call ourselves humans. I don't know what we really are, but we, as a creature, call ourselves humans, Homo sapiens, whatever that means. Um, and as smart as people are, and as far as technology and science has gotten us, we still really don't know anything. Um, we know up to a point, and then there's theory, and then there's hypothesis. But get off the high horse, drop the hubris and the arrogance, and we really don't know anything. We don't know what we are. We still don't know what creatures and other species are on our planet, let alone the vast universe, galaxies. We are truly uh, nothing in a vastness of nothing. Um, and that to me is exciting. It's it fills me with so much joy. Um, as a fan of science fiction and fantasy, and stars and the galaxy and space and things of that nature, I wholeheartedly uh, believe in extraterrestrial life, and I have since I was little. So I've sort of off and on been following, that sort of community and um, UFOs and aliens and how shitty our government is and whatnot. And 2023, starting from 2017, when something happened, a breakthrough happened, it's gotten more and more vocal in the mainstream media, and 2023 sort of has been a real bombshell of amazing uh, information from all facets. I 100% do not trust our government. I think our government, I think America in general is truly fucked, um, and it has been for a long time. Uh, so I have always believed that our government is 100% hiding so much stuff from us, about extraterrestrial life and UFOs and disclosure, all of that stuff. And there has been some really amazing breakthroughs this year. Um, full on Congress hearings and meetings and televised Congress meetings and hearings, and not just in the U.S. but also around the country, about disclosure, about the things that people can't hide anymore. And it's awesome and it's really exciting. And and that really has sort of boosted that part of me again. Really enjoying that part of looking up into the sky and just being amazed. You know, I think people take for granted uh, us as a species, and you know, I think they're afraid to sort of sit and really think about what we are and where we are and how we're floating on a piece of rock in the middle of a universe. It's amazing. It's so rad. It's so cool. And humans suck. We fucking suck. We really do. Um, uh, whatever the hell we are, whatever the hell we are, we suck. Yeah, bring it on, man. All the species that everybody says that we have and that we've seen and that we're hiding and all of that stuff and the uh, the different types of aliens and all of that and what that entails. And I'm 100%. I love it all. I love it. And yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. And I think it's just gonna get, things are gonna crack. And we're in an age where um things can't be hidden as much as they used to be. And uh, you know, your bullshit excuses as balloons and swamp gas and things of that nature are just they just don't fly to anyone with a brain. So, you know, kudos to David Grush and the whistleblowers in Congress who are coming forward. I love it. I eat it all up, and keep bringing us more. Keep bringing us more. You know, fuck us humans. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Um, Another thing that was really fun, that we got to do, we got to take part in. my buddy Bruce Longo's new film. So he's a filmmaker from Philly, and he made 2 shot on video movies. Again, man, the shot on video army continues. Let it grow. Let these new up and coming filmmakers flourish. Um, Psychosis and A Corpse for Christmas. But his new movie, he asked if we would be have cameos in the film, and so he came up here from Philly, and he shot some stuff with myself, Andrew, and Meredith, um, while they were here for the Christmas event, and it was really fun. And Bruce is a really good dude, and you should follow, Bloodsick Productions on all the social medias. And if you're into like the really gritty, gross, hardcore, which I'm not, but I really like Bruce, and I like that he's doing this, and I like that he's shooting aesthetically pleasing uh, um, and gross shot on video horror. Um, so you got to check him out. I mean, he's been a fan of my films and of me and the group for a- so long. He's always been supportive. Um, so go Bruce. And he for the documentary that was made about me, he also provided a lot of claymation that Zach Oliveris hired him for, the filmmaker of that doc. So Bruce Longo, Bloodsick Productions, all that good stuff. Um. Oh, hey guys, I am so sorry that I am not talking to you guys. I see um, Gooch is here. Sean is in here. Evil is here. Hello, Evil. I don't know if Zach's still here or I had that. But yeah, we've been talking for a while about sort of my 2023 recap and all the things that have happened in 2023 so far. But I guess I can talk about the future, right? Going into 2024. Like I said, with the new film we shot this year. Um, so on one hand, it was awesome that I got back together with J.R. Bookwalter and Tempe slash Makeflix and got to make a new movie. But on the other hand, he made his movie at the same time, and so understandably, all of his priority is focused on his new movie. Um, and my movie is sort of waiting in the wings, I guess. So side effects may vary, which I got to see when I was down editing my film. Got to see a cut of his new movie, and it's great. It's really great if you're a fan of no budget horror films and Jr. And the Incredible Melting Man, and Bring Stevens, who is phenomenal in this film. uh, you're really gonna dig this flick. It's really good. But if you go to Side Effects May Vary movie, and that's all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, what have you, there is a list of theatrical screenings and showings for Side Effects May Vary starting in January. And see, JR is also putting together the finishing touches on my film. So he's doing the sound mix, he's doing the color grading. Um, he's doing that 5.1 for theatrical. So not only is JR's film going theatrical before it goes physical media and streaming, but so is my new movie through his channels. The problem is I honestly have no idea when any of that is happening for my film. Um, and that is sort of like for somebody like me who usually we make the movie, I edit the thing, and it's ready to rock. This has been it's out of my hands now. I edited the film, and now it's all at the mercy of JR. Um, so I really don't have much to say when people contact me, message wise, and say, "Hey, what's the deal with your new movie?" I just like, I don't know, man. I know that it'll be out in 2024 in small theatrical screenings and runs before it has physical media and streaming. And when I know something concrete, everybody will know. I'll let everybody know. Because I would assume that the film will be playing in a lot of theaters that I am aware of and I can easily get to, and I can be a part of those screenings and sort of do Q&A here and there. So I imagine it like side effects may vary for JR. There's going to be premieres in different places. One that I do know is happening is at the end of April at Creature Feature Weekend in Gettysburg. Um, that is playing at their theater. Um, my new movie, but again, I assume it's going to be screening a couple places before that. I just don't know yet. So please bear with me with that. As soon as JR gives us the go ahead to even talk about what the movie is, and we have a trailer, which you know I've asked, hey, can I put together a trailer? And he was like, no, 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 no. I assume he's going to put together a trailer at some point. Um, so my new movie is coming out in 2024, and you'll all know when I do. Um, Now, as for Wellsville Nights, um, for you folks that don't know, Wellsville Nights is a um, parody TV show of 80s and early 90s teen high school soap operas. Um, so it's poking fun at shows like Degrassi Junior High and 15, and even to an extent, 90210, right? So those shows in particular, um, everything was so serious. They were tackling, really hard edge subjects for teenagers, and it was all played so melodramatic and over the top melodramatic. And, it seemed like nobody in those shows were having fun because of the trials and tribulations that they were going through. Um, and because of my love of the 80s and certainly growing up in the 80s, I know a lot of that to be true. And I know a lot of um, things to poke fun at from both those shows and my own life, seeing it happen in front of me. Um, and so we shot the pilot last year for Wellsville Nights, and it was awesome and it went great and had such a good time. But there's 7 more episodes that are written and that we want to shoot. Um, it also throws in elements of Dark Shadows. That was a soap opera, supernatural soap opera. So the show is supernatural tinged. Wellsville Nights is. It's not just the trials and tribulations of teen angst, but we do throw in supernatural elements. So there's creatures, there's aliens, there's werewolves, there's vampires, there's monsters, things that are crawling under the surface of this show. Um, and it's fun. It's really funny. It's got that serious tone of those shows mixed with my absurdist humor. So the dialogue is ridiculous and over the top, stupid, but it's played straight. It's played completely straight, and it's played by a bunch of 30 and 40-year olds as 15-year olds. Um, Also, it's shot on broadcast tape, which is how a lot of those shows were shot back in the day. If you know, you know. They were shot to tape, and we wanted to give the show that aesthetic. A PBS teens soap opera, and so we found three old school broadcast cameras, and it's all shot to tape, and it looks great. It looks awesome, you know, and it's Zach color timed it with like a uh, 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 like this hazy hue that those shows had to give it even more of that effect. He did all the music for it, and it's very reminiscent of those shows, you know. Um, but we want to launch a crowdfunding coming up. I mean, probably in February, I would think. February we'll launch it so that we can start making the rest of the episodes. All the seven other episodes are written. They're about 22 to 26 minutes apiece. So funny. Some of them are co-written by Clint Kelly and Casey Bowker, and some of them are just completely written by me, and I co-wrote those with Casey and Clint. Um, and there's lots of dumbass surprises and goofy shit, and it's gross, it's silly, it's absurd, but it's played it's played straight, over bad overacting, serious overacting from teenagers, you know, going through some crazy shit with supernatural stuff. Um, and we're hoping to shoot the episodes in 2024 with a successful crowdfunding. I really hope we can do it. There is a large 80s community on social media, 80s specific accounts and people who are, helping to spread the nostalgia of the 80s, like myself and like this channel. And I'm hoping that a lot of those guys embrace the crowdfund campaign, and I'm hoping that everybody a part of the channel and part of the group promotes the hell out of it and really gets it in front of people's faces so that we can, you know, make make this show, continue to make this show and have the first season ready. And my hope is that we can, if we do the show, we'll have it on some of the streaming services like Amazon Prime, like Tubi, and then we'll do like a full, we'll do a full first season Blu-ray release and VHS release. Uh, but yeah, so I'm hoping in February we can launch this campaign and really make that dough. It's probably going to be. I mean, it's definitely the most expensive thing that I'll ever do, um, and it's really not that expensive. You know what I mean? Like, it was almost around 5 grand to shoot the pilot, a little under 5 grand. Um, so ultimately, if we were able to raise 20 to 30 grand, we'd be able to pull off the entire season. I don't know if we're gonna be doing sort of like a stretch goal thing where after we are able to raise a certain amount of money, then we can shoot at least 4 episodes and then maybe come back to it and be able to raise money for the next, you know, 3 episodes. I just don't know how this is gonna work. I'm gonna have a powwow with a bunch of people over Zoom, with a lot of the gang, and all the creatives, um, to see, what the plan of attack is for Wellsville Nights. Um, but I'm excited. Right now, that's the only thing that's happening, you know, as far as production wise goes. I mean, there's certainly, I have this movie called Radikill that I've wanted to do for years. Um, there's still like Death o' Lantern 3 and things like that that we could do. Um, but otherwise promoting the new film, um, and pre-production and production for Wellsville Nights. I mean, it's a full 2024 as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how many conventions, and because of the screenings, I don't know how many of that we'll be doing, but hopefully a lot. Um, so yeah, it's a full 2024. We'll see what happens. See what happens. I'm gonna let everybody know on social media what we're doing. Um, again, not with just the new movie, but with with promoting the campaign for Wellsville Nights, and if anybody can help us in that arena. But yeah, I think it's sweet. You know, I'm glad to have things to do, things happening for next year. It's exciting, and I want to stay creative. I've got that fire under my grunions to keep going, to keep pushing. Um, and Wellsville Nights was so much fucking fun to shoot. It really was. I had such a blast shooting that pilot, and you can see a sizzle reel. There's like a sort of a this week on Wellsville Nights type commercial trailer on this channel, on a from the '80s channel. If you just look up Wellsville Nights, uh, trailer coming soon reel or whatever, it's there. It's about 2 minutes long, and you get sort of an idea of what the show is. Um, but yeah, so I mean that's a lot of stuff, man. That's a lot of shit that I talked about 2023. Uh, what's happening 2024? Certainly things could change. Um, if there is another opportunity to make another feature, um, that can certainly be looked at. But really, my sights are set on the promotion of the new movie and promoting Wellsville Nights and getting to shoot Wellsville Nights. So yeah, yes indeed. And then of course promoting all of my friends' projects and doing whatever I can to help those projects and see that stuff come to fruition and be a part of any more projects than I can. If people want me to do something, talk about something, be on special features, whatever it is, I will gladly be a part of whatever, help out any way I can. Um, so yeah, but I don't know if anybody is still here, and if anybody wants to talk or have any questions or have stuff to say. See, it's 7:22. I can talk for a little bit more if people are into it. People want to rap about stuff. You can let me know. Oh, I had that. My favorite episode of Mr. Belvedere? Well, the AIDS episode, of course. That's probably not my favorite episode, but it is So funny. AIDS is not funny, but that episode is fucking hilarious. But yeah, I do loves me some Mr. Belvedere. That's for sure. You know what I'm saying? Do I have a hypothesis about aliens at all? I mean, I just think they're out there. Um, it would be silly to think that they aren't. I also think they are here. I think they've been here. I think our government knows, and I think our government is hiding a lot of that information from the public. There's a lot of money and a lot of bad shit that can happen to these war pigs in the government if stuff got out, if full disclosure got out, because it's essentially lying to the American people. It's lying to the world, really. Um, and jobs would be lost, people would be going to prison, money would be lost, things of that nature. So, um, do I think that the government will do full disclosure, regardless of how much they have been sort of letting out, and um, you know all the Congress hearings that have been having about the subject? But I think there's just going to come a point where you know they can't say shit. It ain't up to them. Something happens, and they're just not going to be able to hide it. Um, you know, that's catastrophic disclosure. That's shit that's just going to happen, and we puny farts just can't stop it. You know, as much as they think they're powerful and have the power, we're just, as we call ourselves, we're just humans. So, you know, I welcome it. Bring it on. Speaking of aliens, favorite episode of Elf? I don't know, man. I don't know if I do. I can tell you this: I love any episode of Elf where there's other Melmacians. Um, I, much like the cartoon, which I did very much enjoy. I wish they did more episodes of the live action show where we got to see Melmac and his planet, and all that stuff. You know, so that's right. More Melmacians. I wish we got to see that. I do want that new set, that new Shout Factory set that has the entire everything Elf, everything, the cartoons, the show, special features, documentaries, the shitty movie. It's all there. So I do want to get that. I always have grails. Absolutely. There's always grails. Oh, I had that. Yeah, I mean, I've so growing up, I had both the die-cast Voltron from Matchbox, which was, yeah, maybe about, yeah, that big, maybe. And it had the pop-off heads and everything, but it was die-cast and plastic. Um, I want that back. And I also had the Panache Place Voltron with all the figures, which was much bigger. A very, as a kid, even as a kid, I thought it was a very ugly looking toy from Panache Place for them to put together the lions that way, but I get it, they wanted to fit the characters, they wanted to fit the figures in there, but it does look janky, but I do want it. I had it, and I want it back. I definitely want those 2. I never had the Castle of Lions. I had a friend, his name was Nathan, he had the Castle of Lions, so he always played over there. So I would love the Castle of Lions. Um, Another one that is, essentially pretty easy to get. I just again, I don't buy a lot of things for myself, so it's very rare. So even like, $120, $140 to me is a lot of money. So I would love to get the Fright Zone again, the Motu Fright Zone. I loved that playset. Um, I don't necessarily need the snake puppet with it, um, but as long as everything else is complete, uh, you know, and it's that snake puppet that really like boosts up the nostalgia taxers on that one. Um, but yeah, I want the Fright Zone. That's been on my list. The Grails, I want to get every Bionic Six figure. Growing up, I had every figure, and I want them back. Right now, I only have 3 of them. Um, and there were, 6 good guys, 6 bad guys, all that stuff. The Centurions, the nostalgia taxers are going nuts on those Centurions. So I don't know if me personally, I'll ever spend the money to get the Centurions back. But I had all of the Centurions. So I want those. There's still like some Star Wars that I want to get back in my collection. Um, what do I got here? And they're pretty easy things to get. Um, I want a Return of the Jedi complete Y wing. I want the Rebel Cruiser. Um, uh, I want to grab my Anakin Skywalker loose, my Return of the Jedi one, the one that I sent away to get in the mailer box. I want to re-get the my Wampa loose or in box because the box was cool. Things like that, you know. So, yeah. Tom, yes, they did show scenes on his planet, and yes, you can get the set on Amazon. And it's amazing. I mean, it's full of stuff, full of stuff. Yeah, the Rancor is pretty easy to get too, and fairly not that expensive. When I recollected my Rancor, I think I only paid like $35 for it, um, which was awesome. You know, we'll never be making that mistake again with my precious Rancor. What happened to my original? Uh, I didn't do a wish list video. I mean, I have wish lists. I always have 2 Amazon wish lists. But I didn't do like a wish list video. There's always stuff on my wish list. But I did do you know, my Christmas haul video, which is up on the channel now. All the stuff I got for Krima last week, this week, this last Monday. I guess. I also want to keep going after all the '80s TV guides. Um, I have some, but I want to. I'm always looking for good lots on eBay. Um, but there's specific years that I want in the 80s, and it's mostly, like 82 to 89. I mean, I would even go into like the early 90s TV guides. Nothing past like 94 for the TV guides, but um, I love I love the TV guides. I still love like looking through them and now reading the articles and shit like that. It just takes me back. Yeah, I mean, Tom, it's just I don't know why you aren't like. I mean, it's whatever YouTube does. The algorithms are so fucked up. It shows people what it wants people to see. But yeah, I have a few videos up there. Casey and I did a recent video, but the haul video is up there, and Tuesday we're shooting a new video for all the music, toys, TV, and movies that we're looking forward to in 2024. So we're shooting that next Tuesday. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, I had that. Yeah, I'm always looking, but I don't have a lot of money, so I don't. A certain amount of money is a lot to me. So if I see a lot, not not a lot, but a lot of on eBay of certain TV guides, the price might be like $55 or something for a certain amount of them, and I'm just like, ugh, 55. I can't do that. I can't do that. So you know, I always do the people who have them for like three for $15 type of thing. That's what I find. I mean, that's essentially why I've never pulled the trigger on any of the Sears or J.C. Penney's wish list. The wish guides. It's because they're like $50 to $60. I just can't do it. As much as I want them, as much as I wish I would have saved them growing up, or my family would have saved them growing up. Um, I just can't pull that trigger. No way. Not for $10. I'd do it for $10. Yeah, man, I can't stand nostalgia taxers. I just can't do it. It's ridiculous to me. It's ridiculous. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We had a so there was a woman here who still, I mean, it still runs. I mean, it's mostly running on porn nowadays, but it was a video store. It's called Church Mall Video, and it's still here in Webster. And so this was many, many years ago, but when a bunch of us first started going there, um, she would sell a lot of the VHS tapes to us for very reasonable prices. But the more that she saw that there were like horror hounds like us coming in, and the more she was like looking it up on the internet, the more she saw that, oh, there's, this stuff can go for a lot of money. So then she started completely jacking up all of her prices on her VHS, and to where, it was just ridiculous. We were just like, "Pfft, yeah, no thanks. You know, I hate that. I mean, that barter town here in Webster, you go in, half of the shit in his store isn't priced. He doesn't know what the fucking price of a lot of that shit is. And you pick it up and you're thinking, "Oh, this should probably only be $5." But he's like, "Hmm, yeah, that'll be about, yeah, $25. Yeah, oh, that, yeah, that'll run about $60." It's like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you. You know. So I don't know. You do what you can. There's a lot of places on Long Island that are awesome. That my buddy, actually both Bobby and Sean have taken me to, and there's some reasonable toy shops, vintage toy shops on Long Island, reasonably priced, and they're not all asshats. So that's been cool. But I never have like a shit ton of money to to go and indulge down there. But I would love to. I would love to. They have a lot of great places. But I mean, here in Rochester, we just don't. You know, that Bartertown is like the biggest vintage place we got here, and he just, yeah. And then there's a place in Buffalo, which is an hour away from us, called that '80s toy shop, and it's such a fucking like misleading. He has more modern toys in there than he does '80s. He has more '90s garbage in there than he does '80s, but he's called that '80s toy shop, which is a real bummer to me. That's right, Tom. That's right. Oh, I had that. Yeah, I found most toy spots worth a damn are reasonable. Now, priced. Yeah. Well, I don't know. There's a place in Maryland. It's about 6 hours away from me, called Eternia Dreams, that I really want to check out. And luckily, they just opened a second store. It's a vintage toy shop. They just opened a second store in Gettysburg. So when we go to Creature Feature this in 2024, coming up this year, you best believe I'm stopping at that Eternia Dreams, because that dude is awesome. He actually has a show. He has a channel on YouTube, and he has a little show, um, Eternia Dreams, and so does Toy Federation. Um, fun, you know, fun videos to watch if you're interested in vintage toy shops. The new season of, um, what's it called? There's a new season. It's a toy shop show. Um, it's on Amazon Prime. It's the sixth season. Yeah, Toy Store near you. That's the sixth season. I didn't. Um, I thought there was one episode that was the best out of all of them. Some of them I was just like, there's only 5 episodes in this season so far, but some of them I was like, why did you even bother with this? This is more of a comic book shop than it is a vintage toy shop. Um, but Sarge and Red, I do follow. I follow their channel anyway. Same with Froggy Flips. He's got a fun channel. Yeah, Sergeant Reds. I do follow their channel, but it was nice. So it was nice to see them on that show. and that is a show. I mean, that's a store that I would love to visit. When are we gonna get you out here? Hmm? Mr. Oh, I had that. You should come out and be one of the teens in Wellsville Nights. And just in general, we should do more videos. You know what I'm saying? Man, I took our Christmas stuff down immediately. Like, after, the day after, like, geez, like, what was it? What was yesterday? Thursday? Yeah, all day yesterday, I took everything down. The real tree, that's gone. I mean, and we do up our house full on Christmas, but I took everything down. Yeah. As you can see, it's all gone. It's all back to normal. Um, yeah, this year, we've talked about it. We didn't have like the greatest Christmas as far as the feelings and the atmosphere. There was something something off this year. Um, and I just was sort of like, all right, it ain't Christmas, it's done. It's over with. It's just like a band-aid, just get it all taken care of. And it's my favorite holiday. It was off this year. And I got that from a lot of people, not just my wife, but other friends. Um, I know Tom had talked about it too. There's Chad talked about it a little bit, but yeah, it was an odd Christmas this year. I don't know what it was. Great Christmas party though. We always do that Christmas event every year. That was great. That was probably the most. And I really loved Christmas morning. I gotta be honest, I was bouncing around Christmas morning. I made, breakfast for everybody, and I get so much joy seeing everybody happy and seeing everybody open their presents and everything. And we had the Christmas music blaring and Christmas story on the TV and everything. And so, two times really I felt the Christmas spirit during the party and Christmas morning, but that's about it. Oh yeah, you're telling me. It's one of my most anticipated films. Like this, like right off the bat, March, April, February, March, April. It's stacked with movies that I cannot wait for. But Frozen Empire is definitely it's 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 up there. It's up there for sure. It's right next to Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes and Dune 2. Those 3. I would probably say Deadpool 3 as well, since it's finally in the MCU and it's integrated in the MCU, and I can't wait to see what they do with pulling that all together. And essentially it's Deadpool killing the Fox universe uh to integrate into the MCU, which is great. But yeah, man. Ghostbusters, brother. Ghostbusters. Keep it going. I'm so happy. Yeah, I don't give a shit about Twisters. I don't care. Damn right, man. And they're gonna do a third one. I want them to, as far as I'm concerned, I just want them to keep going, and let's hurry up on the animated show that they keep teasing. And I just, I love this franchise, and I love this, starting with Afterlife. This is the proper direction that they should have gone with from the get go. So I'm just happy that we're getting more Ghostbusters in the original canon, and more merchandise, and just bring it on, bring it on. Let me drink up that nostalgia. In 2024, folks, I mean, 2024, you got the 40th anniversary of so many amazing movies, including Ghostbusters. 40 years. Oh, I had that. That's right. I mean, I won't be getting, if they do re-release the Firehouse, I won't be getting it. I'm good. I got it. I'll probably get those Fright features. That's that after a while, even growing up, I got sick of the different things that they did to the characters. But I did have that first wave, so I'll probably get them. But I think I'll keep them carded. I don't think I need them opened. Um, I just want that nostalgia blast that the package can give me. But I won't open them. I mean, it depends on, like, if they end up at Ollie's again for $3, and then I could have both. But you know, I mean, by the time that wave was over, I was already in my teens, and I just didn't care about all the dumb extra things that they did to toys back then. Um, you know, so I was definitely that first couple of waves of the real Ghostbusters. Oh, I get it. I get it. With that firehouse, I totally understand. I mean, luckily, I was I was gifted the firehouse, which I'll never forget. Thank you, the Bennett brothers, for that amazing gift many moons ago. Holy crap! I opened that the new Snake Mountain Origins. It's beautiful. It is beautiful, man. What a I had such a fun time putting it together and just looking at it, and it's I really love this line of toys, the Origins line. It is so good. Um, yeah, I'm currently putting together the Johnny 5 Lego set that I got. Lego. Got the got his top half done. Mm, yeah, I got them both. I don't know if I'll continue. It depends on what they put out because again, like um, mid to late, I would say probably mid '86, maybe late '86. I was done with the Motu line. Not that I hated it, but I just didn't care about all the weird ass shit that was coming out at the end of that line. All the Snake Men shit and the dinosaurs and the might the all the like weird orbs, animal orbs, shit that was happening in the line, and it just wasn't for me. And then going to see the movie in '87 and coming out of that feeling like it was the nail in the coffin. Um, so I know that Origins, that specific line that they're doing is going to be Mattel, like a Mattel.com exclusive thing. But now going out to stores is going to be the Motu Origins Filmation line. So it's going to look like the cartoons. Um, those figures, and I have the Super 7 ones, but I I have to get these new ones with all the articulation and everything. I do have the new Filmation He-Man and Beastman. I did get those. So yeah, it took me a while um, with the Dolph Lundgren film, the '87 film. It was me and some friends. We went. I was 10 years old. We walked out and we were all sort of pissed at what we saw. But when I got into my early 20s, I started watching it again and was like, I like this movie for what it is. And so I proudly own the Blu-ray, and you know, I've watched it several times, and I've shown Katie, and Katie actually really enjoyed it too. And it's fun. It's just a fun, low budget, you know, Golden Globus canon shitty action fantasy movie. Yeah, I used to have the theatrical poster, um, but when we moved so many different apartments and everything, it just kept getting fucked because I stupidly never put it in a frame. But my buddy Heather gifted that to me, like, geez, like over 20 years ago or some shit. This is all gonna be. This room is all gonna be switched around. I mean, it's basically gonna still be the sci-fi fantasy room and everything, but I'm integrating a lot of the Star Wars stuff since my wife is taking over the Star Wars room with her mortar and pestle apothecary business. So at some point, I am going to be doing some adding and some tracting in this room. Um, and like I said, with the '80s room, I'm waiting for some different shelving. There's certain things that I want to do in that room, and I'm Not sure I can right away with the shelving that I have and how I want to set it up. I need to really take better advantage of the space and stuff like that. And I could add stuff from both rooms to the theater room, but I really like keeping that horror centric. Um, so I would rather just keep adding horror stuff to the theater room. Uh, so yeah, I mean, I'll be doing some updated room tours once I figure out how I'm going to rearrange everything for all the rooms. Again, the theater room, I don't know if I'll do an updated video because it's not much different. There's one space that is different from what it was, and then we did get the three theater chairs down there to add to the couches and everything. But other than new Blu-rays and 4K Blu-rays, oh, I did get two new masks, but other than that, I haven't really gotten anything that's really going to change that room around. Um, so, but definitely, I'll do a new '80s room tour. I'll do a new this room tour, and I'll finally do Katie's game room tour. You know, she needs to like clean it up. Um, and then I got her so much stuff for Christmas that she has to add all that stuff and really rearrange what she wants to do with it again. But she has a pretty cool room, for vintage and modern gamers, and I think people would be interested in seeing it. So. But anyway, folks, I think this is it. I am going to go find some food. Um, but I thank you, folks, for popping in and talking. And any of you guys who watch after this live show, you got anything to say? Let me know in the comments. Of course, like the video. That really helps. Thank you guys for hanging and chatting. And you know, there's more to come. It was a up and down, good and bad 2023. Some great highs, some shitty lows, and I'm just hoping for a great 2024 for everybody, for everybody. Um, and yeah, we'll see you on some more episodes of A Crap from the '80s and more info about all the movie stuff happening and all that stuff. Thanks again, everybody. You can find me on Instagram at Warlock Home Video. You can find me on Facebook at Christopher J. Seaver or Warlock Home Video Network. And of course, right here on A Crep from the '80s. Thanks again, and see you later. Shamo.